Welcome to Yep Yeah Yes with Marissa and Tamika. Today we're discussing the NFL and their hypocrisy on social issues. What's going on, Marissa?
Not much. Enjoying my allergies.
Yeah, we're going to be clearing our throat, coughing up phlegm, sneezing, saying how you doing, I'm okay. But it's May. Hey.
Hey.
Anyway, so let's jump into this. So the NFL recently just made a change to their rules and policies. And Roger Goodell basically said that players shall stand and show respect for the flag and anthem. He also made it clear that players who do not, they will be fined, and that includes coaches, and team personnel can also be fined. The alternative is for them to go into the locker room if they don't want to stand. Like, don't come out on the field until after the national anthem is played. My first thought on this was like, that's real whack, because everybody's going to notice who's not on the field. Mm-hmm. So now you're bringing more attention to it. This actually started to die down a bit. Right, now you reignited it into the hemisphere, and you completely, and when I say you, it's like Roger Goodell completely, who's the commissioner of the NFL, completely changed his viewpoint. Because in the beginning, when Colin Kaepernick started to, first he sat and then he spoke with a veteran who told him to kneel. When he started doing that, Roger Goodell, he never said anything about disrespecting the flag or anything like that, and that's not Kaepernick's stance. And so now it's turned into something totally having nothing to do with the original ideology of what they were doing, and it's turned into this thing where, if you don't stand, you don't respect the flag. So now I'm like, but you're not. What about all this other stuff? All these other players that do stuff that that is like totally foul. Like, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to speak as somebody who comes from a long line of a military family.
Most people are,
yeah.
Everybody. I think everybody comes from military. Somebody in their family has served.
Has served. I know firsthand where my dad and my brother have told me to my face, where they say, I fight for the freedom for you to do whatever it is that you want to do. Respecting the flag is definitely something that they wish and hope that everyone else does, but how you respect the flag is up to you. So, having said that, I believe in separation between your personal issues and when you're going to work. I believe that is work. Yes, it's a pastime. What is that? The American pastime, the number one American pastime? But that it still is somebody's job, and if that's how that they, that's how they show respect for their flag, going to work, I don't believe it's disruptive. I never thought it was disruptive, and I'm okay with it. As far as telling somebody what to do when they're at work, apart from their conduct, I think that there's so much conduct unbecoming of an NFL player that should warrant fines and
which they do, but they don't bring attention.
They don't bring. Well, that's what I'm saying. You need to act. They need to have more attention to
outrage.
The thing. As outrage. Yeah. You're gonna cold clock somebody in the elevator.
Exactly. Drag them out. Drag them out. Step over them.
Drag them out like a
the person you love.
Piece of trash. But we're not outraged over that. We're outraged over someone doing a silent, peaceful protest, which they have every constitutional right to do.
Or the guy, I think his name was Greg Hardy. He threw his girlfriend on a futon that was filled with guns and rifles. But, and he still got to play for the Cowboys. They still signed him. But that's okay.
That's all right.
And, it's fine. Like, the NBA has a rule where you have to stand. They did this way before, though. They did it. They had a player, I'm going to mess up his name. Raul Mamu. I can't say his name, but and I don't mean to be disrespectful. That's being disrespectful. But he basically did the same thing, and the NBA issued a thing where you have to stand. Like, now you got to stand.
Okay.
And he was pretty much ostracized from the league too. The way that the NBA gets it right, though, is that yeah, you got to stand for the flag, but you can do whatever you can protest in any other way. They let their NBA players wear warm-up shirts that said "I can't breathe."
Right. I
You know,
remember
Black
that.
Lives
Yeah.
Matter, stuff like that. And
Right.
so they can promote, that kind of thing. I
Right.
think the only thing that the NFL ever promotes in terms of social justice, other than veterans' right, which by the way they get paid for. They never used to play the national anthem until the U.S. government came to them. It was like, look, we'll pay you money to play the national anthem at every game.
Wow.
And so the hypocrisy of that is another thing. But the only between the U.S. vets and breast cancer awareness, that's the only two issues where they make it clear on the field.
But in October, isn't that paid? They get endorsements.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everything is
That's all
paid.
paid endorsements. But see, then again,
It's not real.
therein lies the whole social issue as well, where if you're doing this if it's paid and part of your job, I mean, what are you standing for?
And the
'Cause
thing
you wear
about
some
it,
pink Nikes.
yeah, and then the thing about it too is like, are you gonna close down the concession stands? So it's okay to buy a Budweiser while they're singing the national anthem? That's okay, right?
Oh my God.
That's okay. Is it okay to wear a bandana, a U.S. flag bandana,
I want to talk about that.
tighty whities,
I want to talk
bikini
about
briefs?
that. Stop it!
Brassiere?
Stop it! But that is one
I
thing
see
that
people on
annoys
the
me.
beach. People on the beach laying on American flag towels.
Yes, that
Just
annoys
saying.
me because you're not supposed to wear the American flag.
Right.
If you want to talk about respect for the flag and what our veterans fight for, if we're gonna be petty and the nitty gritty, I don't recall anybody on the beaches of Iwo Jima talking about I'm fighting for my great grandson to bro it out, in Cancun with his American flag
This
shorts.
bud's for you.
Yeah, like
You know.
I don't think anybody, on the
And-
beaches of Normandy.
Now that I think about it, isn't the Budweiser can basically like the
It's
U.S.
called the American now, or
don't-
they did a campaign, but it's
But the can is
the
like,
it's supposed to be akin to the American flag.
so I mean, but that's not the NFL. But the NFL sells it,
Yeah.
and they have no problem. Like you're so like, this is disrespect. Like that's the whole stance.
Yeah,
It's
it's
one thing-
disrespectful to the flag and our veterans.
You're not saying that it's disrespectful to the league.
right.
You're
right.
saying it's disrespectful
to the
to the
flag,
flag.
and our veterans.
Right. And to me, that's wherein lies the issue and the hypocrisy of it, because you went and you jumped on a bandwagon where they said they did what do you call it, a survey, and polled a bunch of people. Where these people are, I'm not exactly sure. They ain't polling me, and I'm an NFL watcher. But they polled people, and people were like, yeah, it was disrespectful to the flag. But
Was it anybody during the Operation Iraqi Freedom?
I doubt it.
Was it anybody that's supporting what is that Wounded Warrior Project? I mean, I would like to know. Can we poll our vets? Can we?
And the fine money. Are you going to use this money for vets?
Can we
What are you
give
doing with
that
that
to
money
the
for the
VA?
fine? Yeah,
Can we
what are
give
you
that to
doing with the
VA?
money? You didn't announce what you were doing with the money.
Let's find outrage in the VA. Do you know there is a what was it? Was it here on Long Island where a veteran walked into the VA and said he needed help. He needed mental help and assistance.
Yeah,
They
I
told
remember
him
that.
he could not be helped and sent him on his way. He went to the parking lot, slit his wrist, and died in the parking lot of a VA hospital.
This was like a year or two
That
ago.
is outrageous. Somebody doing a peaceful protest, standing or kneeling during a flag, that is outrage to me. You're going to tell me somebody you're going to treat that is disrespect to our vets and our flag.
I think the other thing too that's very hypocritical, and that I agree with you, number one. Other thing that's hypocritical to it is the timing of this announcement. Number one, it's not even NFL season. It's May.
Right.
So you released this information Memorial Day weekend, right before Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
So you had a plan. The day that you release it, the footage comes out from the basketball player from the Milwaukee Bucks who was tasered by police officers because he double parked at a Walgreens. And they came out and they asked him, he came out and the police officer asked him, like, why are you double parked? Like, he started confrontation with him. And the guy was like, I apologize, can you just give me a ticket? And he's like, well, he started just he started.
It's the banter. Yeah,
so
the
then he calls for
banter.
backups, and it's like 6 squad cars come, and they're all surrounding him. They taser him. He goes down to the ground. The next day, this happened in January. The next day, he goes to the game, and he's got bruises all over him. And the media's asked, like, what happened? He's like, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to focus on basketball. Time will tell. And then finally it came out the same day, last week, the same day that the NFL put up these rules changes. But the whole thing that Kaepernick, his whole thing was against police brutality. And they released this information, these rules changes, on the same exact day that an NBA player suffered brutality, so much so that the chief of police came out and apologized to him.
Oh.
Because they, on their report, they said that he was defiant and aggressive, and you see the
footage says otherwise.
It shows he's just standing there.
I just want to say this. Police officers do a job that I'm not willing to do. I'll tell you that much.
Exactly.
They go in places that I'm not. Listen, if you hear a cacophony of something, they're running to it. I can guarantee I'm the first one in line running away from it. But at the same time, we need to hold each other accountable. And that goes with anything. We need to hold each other accountable in how we treat each other.
Right.
There needs to be respect both ways.
Right.
And, you know,
I think there needs to be education. I think
both sides.
I think police officers need to be in the community and teaching people that
kids,
they're not that they're not
that's
to
not
be
the bad.
feared.
But you know what? I read this thing the other day on one of my mom groups where they were talking about how, like, don't call the cops on your kids, because then all of a sudden the cops are the bad people. You know, like, because your kid don't want to go to school, I'm going to call the cops. Why would you do that? Like, that's the dumbest thing.
That's the Starbucks thing. You call the cops because
some guy. Oh my Lord! And they close down.
And they make it. The problem with this is that there's so many good cops that they make it bad
for
these
others.
Little few incidents. And I don't, I'm not belittling it, but they make it bad for other people, for other police officers.
And you know what? Starbucks shutting down. I know a few police officers that were quite peeved that they couldn't get their Starbucks. So how about that outrage?
But my thing is, like, are they outraged at, like, what exactly? Where does that outrage go? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, are they outraged that it came to this because that woman made a mistake, or are they outraged because Starbucks felt that they needed to give they had to teach white people how to treat black people? Basically.
Yes. I just don't understand.
Y'all closed because you got to teach people how to treat people.
Minorities. Each other. It's so crazy to me how we have to go back to this is one of the things where I do appreciate the Obama administration with this UPK, National UPK program. And those counties or those districts that do not capitalize on this, shameful on you. And that is a shame to our veterans and my flag. Ugh. We have to reduce ourselves back to things that should have been taught in preschool. How to share, how to treat each other with kindness and empathy. And I just don't understand where that got lost.
I think people still treat that, but I think kids still learn that. But it's not consistent.
But
it needs to be throughout every year.
But that's what I mean. It gets lost throughout the way, because there's no reason why in preschool you learned how to share and you treat each other with kindness and respect, and then you're a manager at Starbucks and you call the cops on 2 people that asked for a bathroom. You said no, and they peacefully sat down within 2 minutes.
But see, I don't. This is where I have to say, like, I don't know that woman would have done that to someone else. Like, she can treat people. She might treat people with kindness and respect. But if you don't have a respect for a particular race, then they're not going to get treated that way.
But that's what I mean. If you're not treating everybody with the same kindness and respect, then you don't treat people.
But that's where sensitivity comes in. You have to learn that, like, color means nothing.
Nothing. But that
a lot of kids. I remember when your kids were really young and your daughter. Well, I don't remember if your daughter or your son. One of them touched my face, and they're like, "Oh, black," but they said it so lovingly.
Oh,
I think they were learning, like,
that. Yeah.
they were learning, like, the difference between, like, colors and stuff like that. And I had to tell myself, it's a kid. Yeah. Don't get all like, what the fuck you touching my face for, motherfucker? Put your hand up. I know where your hand's been. You know, but that's an opportunity. Even though I don't feel like 100% great about my looks and my appearance, it's important for me to Like, I think was it
I
your
remember.
son?
I don't remember who
I
it
can't
was,
remember either.
but I remember you said, "Yeah, isn't that beautiful?" And
Right.
they're like, "Yeah."
Right.
But yeah, I remember.
Even if I
remember
don't
that
believe
exchange.
that, the next person,
Yeah.
you have to teach that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
but kids, they notice things right away.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Even I remember we were at a convention. We took the kids or whatever, and your son found a black boy, a little black boy.
Oh yeah, I remember
and he's
that.
like, "This is my new
best friend. Look, he's
And
like you.
Yeah, and the boy is like, I don't know this. Like, the boy is like 3-4 years older than
Yeah,
him,
I
and he
know.
was like,
Like,
he
I
might have
don't
been
know
even
this
more like 5-6 years older.
Yeah, I think he was. And he's like, who brought? Come get
He's
your
like,
kid.
come get this little white boy dragging me around. But he was the boy
Somebody come get Jose.
respectful of
Yeah,
him.
yeah, of him and you and just the whole situation. Yeah.
Yeah, he could. The older kid could have just been like, you know, he could have.
Yeah.
He could
have gone out of pocket. Yeah.
He could have acted in a way that could have damaged your child's
perception
of
certain
black
ethnic,
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those little things like that really shape.
And that's what's so important when you're talking about, like, I use the word tribe or like you know, part of the tribe. I use that. I like to use that phrase. I have no particular reason why, but when you're talking about your tribe and like the people that you surround yourself with, that's what's so important about diversity. And then just treating each other like, I really do treat my kids with kindness and respect. I apologize to them, and which is so hard to do. And so they can understand an apology and look at others with the same empathy. And I don't treat other kids differently. You know, I have all these kids in my neighborhood that be running in and out of my house, and everybody gets treated the same. What doesn't get treated the same is disrespect and unkindness. That will not.
You know, it's crazy because the NFL could learn a lot from
me.
What kids are taught. I know that they have. You know, I know someone who used to work for a company that trained NFL players and employees on how to treat women, domestic violence and stuff like that. So they've spent money on trying to train their players and stuff like that. But it's like, when you're 22, 23, 20, 30, 40, like as Tom Brady's going to be, like, you should already know that.
Yeah. By
the time you get to the NFL, you should know how to treat people. And on top of that, like, the NFL is made up of mostly over 70% black men. And so, going back to this flag thing, for the NFL to issue a policy that goes direct against what the whole point of them kneeling was, is pretty much a slap in the face.
Yeah.
And, you know, for them to jump on the bandwagon that it was about the military and just disrespecting the flag is just very disheartening. And I'm at a point right now, you know, I love the NFL. I love the Giants, my favorite team. And I didn't watch them last year. I didn't watch one game. And I'm like, can I do a second year? But what does that do?
Yeah.
What does that do?
And it just makes me, like, whenever somebody says it's a disrespect to my flag and a disrespect to our veterans, I always think about that gentleman who walked into a VA.
Right.
And they told him they could not help him. That's a disrespect to my flag and my veterans.
If I hear another person say that, I'm gonna be like, what? How much money have you given time volunteered have you done for the veterans?
Yeah, there's the USO. I mean, there's so much you can do.
It's like the old saying, like, people complain about, you know, the elections and stuff. Did you vote?
I know so many people that complain about politics, but they don't vote.
You don't vote.
They're not even registered.
Like, what do you even... Yeah. And that, you know, for a slight on Colin Kaepernick, he didn't vote. But he's not complaining about the election.
No, he's complaining about something else.
But people are like, he didn't even vote. You know, it's like, okay. I don't know. The whole thing is just crazy. But I want to transition into our weekly segment entitled. Yep, that's trending.
Oh, yep, that's trending.
So Roseanne Barr.
She lowered the bar.
Roseanne lowered the bar. Oh, did she ever? You can't even cha-cha under that thing. You know, you don't even want to cha-cha. But so she tweeted the other day. She wrote, "Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby equals VJ." A lot of people are like, what the heck is VJ? And it wasn't confirmed until she issued an apology saying that she wanted to apologize to Valerie Jarrett. Now, as a black woman, it's funny because we spoke about this a few weeks ago when I was talking about the pajamas I got from your relative that had monkeys on them.
Yeah.
But she didn't have, like, it didn't come from a bad place.
Yeah, it wasn't the same intention.
But my reaction and my mother's reaction to it is a clear indication of why black folk are so sensitive to that.
Uh-huh.
And Roseanne knew that. And then she spent the last few days since, trying to apologize, not apologize. Apologize, not apologize. And at the end of the day, like, there's certain things that are, like, not forgivable. I can't imagine, like, everybody has a comeback. There's some comebacks. You can't come back from that. She shouldn't have been able to come back from the Hitler.
I'm gonna say I've been on Ambien, like, maybe 16, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had trouble sleeping, and my doctor gave me a prescription of 10 pills of Ambien. This is back when it first came out.
Right.
And I took it so sporadic. I had them forever. I probably had them till it expired. But it did help me sleep. But it didn't go into a crevice in my mind. Perhaps that crevice doesn't exist. Also, social media, the way it is right now, that platform didn't exist either. But I never turned around and became a racist.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I don't know how you pronounce it, Sanofi, the creators, the owners of Ambien.
Oh, they
tweeted, and I quote, "People of all races, religion, and nationalities work at Sanofi every day to improve the lives of people around the world. While all pharmaceutical treatments have side effects, racism is not a known side effect of any Sanofi medication."
I will agree to that.
That was like the best response, because really, like, she's starting to, she's putting the blame everywhere except on herself, and just certain things. You know me, I was the Roseanne, like, I TiVo it still.
Yeah.
And it's
But you know what? Some people, and this is what's so it's a gift and a curse with this platform. What's the gift is that you see people for who they truly are, and I'm thankful for that, because then I know where to go.
Right.
But it's also, the curse is the platform in the environment today is really showing people that it's okay to think, feel, and act and say certain things. She's always been outrageous, and she's always done things that were kind of, I wouldn't say, the word I'm looking for, scandalous, but there's scandal that creates chatter, but there's scandal that creates you perhaps need to go back to your preschool training on this one.
Yeah. And of all people, like you watch the show and you're like, even like people like when Sarah Gilbert came out and was like, I forget what her statement was, but she's like, it doesn't reflect the views of our cast, and we want to be around that and stuff. People were like, whatever, chick. You all knew who she was.
Yeah, you knew who she was.
And then somebody else was like, a random person was like, I feel bad for the people that had to work with that racist every day. No, motherfucker, feel bad for the people that have to deal with racism every day.
Every day, yeah.
Me and my uncle were talking, and it was like, he's like, I still walk into Rite Aid, and people, follow me, and they look at me like I'm going to steal something. And he's like, I make more money than you make. Mm-hmm. I make more money in a day than you'll make in a week. Yeah. And you think because of the way I look, because of my skin color, that I'm a thief. He's like, I got nice jeans on, a nice t-shirt, but it's not good enough. And so I don't feel bad for those people who get jobs. They're in Hollywood. They they're not going to, maybe DJ won't.
Oh, I know, poor DJ, man.
He was director and stuff like that. But,
was he? I didn't know that.
He was director.
Oh, man.
Producer and stuff. But, and maybe Becky won't. Becky ain't,
Which Becky?
Yeah, right? Both Beckys. But,
Becky
I feel like when they said, I felt some kind of way when it's like, I feel bad for the people that had to work with that racist. It's like, no, feel bad for the people that have to deal with that racist. They had to wake up in the morning and see a reminder of how people feel about you, that you're just an animal, that you have no value. They feel bad for the people when you read their comments and like, whatever, like Jenna Jameson, she's like, I stand with Roseanne. And I didn't like the fact that people was like calling her a cum whore and all this other stuff. Like, you don't have to combat hate with hate. Educate her.
Yeah.
And it just, social media is
it's a gift and a curse.
It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
But I'm on it. Yep, yeah, yes. At YepYes18 on Instagram. Or is that Twitter? Instagram. You're like, I don't know.
I don't know.
But you know, I'm on it. But social media is like it's a tough thing, man.
You and I. This was like, oh gosh, 20 years ago maybe. We were at a bar, and we met this group of people. They were like, one of the guys was chatting you up, and there happened to be an Indian gentleman in the group, and you and I had just gone to like this Cinema of Arts, and we saw this movie, and it had to do with Indian culture. And I said, oh, hey, did you see such and such movie? It was fantastic. And his friend goes, she called you Gandhi. She asked you if you ate curry. And I went, no, I didn't. And he kind of paused, like he didn't know. He kind of like, I still stand with my question. It was a great movie.
Right.
I asked him if he saw it. I would have asked anyone if they saw it, to be honest with you. I just happened to be talking to somebody who was Indian.
That's the problem, because we're all so sensitive that we think people ask me, did you see Black Panther? I'm like, you asking everybody?
No, but he didn't. He paused because he was like thinking about his friend. His friend, who happened to be Caucasian, was like, oh, she asked you if you were Gandhi, and he pulled out like all these racial words and a string of sentences, and we both paused, and I went, no, I didn't.
Right.
And I was like, I would have asked anyone. I just saw the movie yesterday.
Right.
You and I just happened to be talking. And he's like, I don't even know what to say right now. And I was like, I hope you say nothing, but you guys can just turn around. Your friend can keep talking to my friend. I don't even want to look at you guys.
Right.
And he was like, and I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, I think I know what time that, because I wasn't in the conversation. I was off getting my groove on. The biggest mistake of my life, but well, no, there's been a few, but we're not going to delve into that, because this is not about bad days. That's a different day. But no, when you're speaking to that though, even though that wasn't the case, I always get a lot of people ask me specific questions. Like I remember, we were at a dental meeting, and my new boss was there, our new boss at the time. And his fiance-to-be, whatever, turned to me and she's like, so do you like Beyonce?
Oh my God.
I was like, She's like, yeah, I'm going to go see her and Jay-Z. I think it was the first On the Run tour.
Of all the people to ask, she asked
and
you.
I was like, yeah, good, have fun. She's like, she's like, all I know is like the one with the ring. And I was just like, She's like, but we got free tickets, so we're going to go. I'm like, why are you telling me?
Of all the people, she asked you if you like Beyonce.
I feel like that's one of the things that I encounter a lot. I think with you have this ambiguity around you.
Yeah.
Where you can assimilate. You're like Meghan Markle. Like, wow,
but you know what's so funny? And this is one of the things where I like, every once in a while, I pull myself and I'm like, did I get away with something, or am I racist?
Right.
Because not that I got, like, because that's not who I am. I truly, that's not where my mind is. And I love having conversations with people. I appreciate culture and diversity. But sometimes, like, I wonder, like, asking, the guy just happened to be Indian. And the night before, we happened to see a movie about Indian culture. And I don't know, did I ask him because he was Indian and I'm a racist? I don't think so. I would have asked it to anybody.
But that's what you hope. But I wonder sometimes if people, like, they don't say it out of race. Like, when I got asked if I saw Black Panther, I don't think it was a racist question. I think it's like trying to relate.
Right.
Without thinking to themselves, like, well, maybe she doesn't.
No, but that's what I mean. Did I have unintentional teachable moments, but people thought I was that right. ethnic group?
Right.
So I got away with something? I don't know.
But it can happen also with anything. Like, you have a relative who's a teacher. Mm-hmm. And you can ask, if you saw Bad Teachers, like, did you see that movie Bad Teacher? Because she's a teacher.
Yeah.
But it just so happens that with race stuff, it's like, it's highlighted, So,
now I wonder then, so does that mean, like, I don't know, so, like, I'm questioning, like, do I know how to talk to people?
I don't know. It's the thing about it, though, at the end of the day, it's like social media heightens a lot of that stuff. So that stuff happened one-on-one. Right. But I think with social media, it makes it even more of an issue. We were just talking about Roseanne. One of the other things that came out was the Philadelphia president of operations and general manager, who supposedly had 4 or 5 burner accounts on Twitter.
Right.
So, and he was using them. Yes, Colangelo. He was using them to criticize his employees, the players on the team, releasing medical information, talking about draft picks, things that you can't do. And he copped to only one of them. But my thing is, like, one is enough.
So, but now here's my...
And why do you have burner? He said that he had them so that he can monitor media. You can't monitor that from your own
device.
You know how many stuff you can click on without anybody knowing that it was you that clicked on it? Like,
there's so many public accounts. Like, usually like media is public anyway.
And who the hell is accepting an egg as a friend?
Nowadays, right?
Don't nobody accept like an egg with 8 friends, 8 followers, or 0 followers.
I've got like 12 followers.
And your name is Brian 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. No, like, that's a fake account. That's the one he claims to have as his own.
Oh boy.
You know, so social media turns people into crazy. I mean, even the basketball player Kevin Durant, he had a big account and he was arguing on his behalf with fans, defending himself.
Like, you really got to do all
and he got found out because he mixed them up by mistake.
Oh my word!
So he tweeted from him
his fake account something real.
Right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So it's social media got people up in a rapture, yo.
What's crazy to me too was just like how do people have enough time in the day? Because I struggle with like food shopping, laundry, cleaning a house, being a productive member of society, a mom, working. I struggle with that.
Right. So
how is it that people find time to have 5 burner accounts, do good in their job, be a human? I just don't. How do you really?
And you're the president of basketball operation and the general manager. You got a lot of time. Like, what are you doing?
You got other things.
There's a lot of people that got a lot of time. But from like the earlier conversation we were talking about with, NFL player, beating their wife. Like, you really
cold clocking them.
Even not, just the insecurity. Like, you can tie to social media, people that mess up on social media. You can tie that to people who act inappropriately and break the law, in other sports. It's like, you're so sensitive.
Yeah.
Like, any man that puts their hand to a woman, to her face, that's you're sensitive.
Yeah.
Like, you can't handle it. Like, you're whack, yo.
Yeah.
You're weak. Like, every word that you can describe, it's just
you're weak. Yeah.
You're weak. I don't know. Shit is crazy.
But like, I always think about, like, whenever I see the way parents or caregivers, I should say, the way caregivers interact with kids, it's every once in a while where, like, you see that kid is like a bully, and then you see that kid speaks to other people in a certain way. It's just like this never-ending cycle. And again, it just goes back to, skills you learn in preschool are so important.
Yeah. But you would hope, though, that everybody's getting the same level.
The same lesson.
They're not, though.
That's a problem.
Depends on the school district they're
in.
That's a problem. Type of school.
But not only that, carry it at home. Make your tribe. Your tribe needs to call you to the carpet. We need to call each other to the carpet.
We're all in this together, but if you don't see it that way, you think about people that like, there's like racism. When you're talking about Roseanne, that stuff is learned. That's just like, people are not.
Is it a far stretch from somebody dressed up as Hitler to somebody who's
right?
I mean, really? Like, do we expect this to go? I probably didn't expect it now, especially with the resurgence of her career and her not being, in the best light with people. But really?
What do you think about people that just laugh like, oh, she's just joking? You're just joking when it has nothing to do with you and your people.
Yeah, exactly. You know what's so funny? So I think one of my kids is extremely, extremely clever. So one twin is doing a knock-knock joke, and it's knock-knock, who's there? Orange. Knock-knock, who's there? Orange. Knock-knock, who's there? Orange.
You got that from me. Like, really?
But then the one that's really clever goes, come in. And, like, the joke stopped, and I lost it.
Yeah,
I thought it was so clever. That's a joke.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
That's pretty
That's
good.
a joke. Breaking someone down through hundreds of years of institutionalized racism, emotional racism, breaking someone down to something less than an animal, because we need to respect our animals as well. But you break someone down with hundreds of years of racism, That's not a joke.
Well, when the president calls Hispanics animals on his last campaign stump, I mean, it comes from the top.
But
you make it okay. Everybody's getting crucified except for, everybody's losing their jobs, but it starts from the top. So, I mean,
but but I can't.
I just, at the end of the day, Roseanne she's
listen,
whack,
we're behind I have a bumper sticker in front of me, and it says freedom is not free. And
I always believe that.
It's not. But the price we pay, we need to make sure we're calling each other to the carpet for the same things.
I think that's what's happening now in this society. People, every little thing somebody says, somebody calls somebody out on it. And
no. If you're gonna say what Roseanne said was a joke,
no, I'm saying
be
like
outraged
the outrage
of
it. Like with ABC to come out, that's what I'm saying. We're calling people on it.
Oh,
you know how much they're gonna lose? About $1 billion by canceling the show. She was making $60 million a year.
Where is Solange in the elevator when you need her? Talk about $1 billion. When there's $1 billion in the elevator,
right?
Oh my gosh.
But for the company to stand up and risk that money, but you're just Disney. You have a reputation to uphold. And the funny thing is, like, Roseanne said that, and the president of Disney is a black woman. Like,
oh my word.
I don't know.
Well, I'm glad the president of Disney is a black woman. It shows you that.
The head of Disney is Bob Iger, though. That dude, he what he says goes. She probably made the recommendation. She's like, nah, you can't be having somebody. I don't care who she is.
Do you remember?
It's only going to get worse.
Remember when we were kids and Bob Eisner would introduce the Disney movie on Sunday night?
Oh, it was the other guy. It wasn't Bob Iger. I can't remember his name.
Eisner.
Oh yeah, Mark. Not Bob Iger. Yeah, what's his name? Damn it. We'll think of it when we end the show.
But that was great.
Yeah,
Disney needs to do that again.
I used to watch it 7 o'clock with my grandmother.
Right?
Be like, okay, what's today? And it's Tom Huck or Huckleberry Finn. Tom Huck.
But I used to just love that because I felt like that really wrapped up my weekend and got my whole the psychological cues to get ready for the week.
The beginning when he was like surrounded by all the kids like at Disney, and it's like today's show is going to be about the wonderful story of Winnie the Pooh.
Oh,
it's like,
homie.
Can we go back to those? Can we make America great again?
Make America, girl. Let's make America great again.
No, America is already great. What's that mean? That's code. See, I just baited you. You like that?
Listen, I don't care what anybody says. I'm gonna make America great again. One podcast at a time.
Please don't say that.
I'm taking it back.
It feels very.
I'm taking it back.
It feels offensive.
I'm taking it back.
You're taking it back?
I'm taking it back.
Oh, you're taking it back.
I'm taking the phrase back.
Okay, whatever.
People were
But if you say it, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, word. High five.
MAGA.
Oh, my gosh. I can't.
Oh, she's one of those.
You can't even say anything anymore, Like, Black lives really do matter, but it's not like...
All lives matter!
Whenever I see that kind of stuff, it makes me feel like, so you don't believe Black lives. We're not talking about, like I always say to you, when you talk about Spanish History Month, like, we're talking about black folk right now.
I know you.
We know Spanish History Month is in September, but can we focus on black folk?
You always telling me to focus. Come focus, man.
Exactly. Tell Dr. Holland.
Tell me, man.
I don't know, but at the end of the day, though, I think it's a learning
curve,
experience. It makes you think like, damn, and hopefully other people are looking like, wow, we can bring. Everybody's replaceable.
Oh yes.
I don't. The Roseanne show was getting. Like, the first week, it was like 30-something million people watched the first episode.
It can be replaced.
But it don't matter.
Yeah.
Like, and she even tweeted today. She's tweeting every day now. She said, I'm leaving Twitter, and then she comes back like an hour later. She's like, and another thing.
But she
was like, this only hurts John Goodman And what's
First of all, ain't nothing hurting John Goodman.
they good?
He good. He's got such an illustrious career, and I appreciate him as an actor. I will say this: I've seen quite a few movies of him, and he has a broad.
He's good.
I think he's extremely underrated. I will say this, and everybody who works with him gets an Oscar, and that really bothers me. You talk about Leo and Susan Lucci. What about John Goodman?
And then
But
what's her name? The sister. I just want to call her Jackie. Can't remember her name.
Oh gosh.
But she been out.
But
She got nominated for an Oscar. So
But she's at least nominated.
You know, like they going, like I said, the only ones I worry about is Becky and DJ. You know what I mean? Becky and DJ. Somebody hire them. And I don't want to see a Roseanne reboot without
anyone
Roseanne.
else. I know. Just
Like, you
put
can't
it in
make-
the coffin. Like what do they do? It's not nails in a coffin anymore. It's the little twist things. The special key. Turn it. Put it away. It's to bed.
It's done.
Let's do something else.
We'll call this last season, last season. We'll just call it like a mini series.
Yes.
You know?
I like that.
It didn't leave off with a cliffhanger other than Roseanne, you know, now she's addicted to pills.
Well.
It's the Ambien. Ambien made her racist.
Is it far-fetched from her real life? Didn't she have an issue?
Well, she said that she was she had dissociative personality, 12 different handwritings.
Okay.
I mean, you know, she said she had mental illness, but like I said last week,
mental illness.
You can't be blaming everything on
mental illness.
Like everybody, like she blaming everything. She blaming on the Ambien. Like, you know, like you can't blame everything on everything.
Yeah.
You got to step back and be like, I messed up. But if you don't feel like you messed up,
own it.
Then own it. If you don't feel like, somebody needs you to stop putting in phrases throwing me off.
I can't help it.
I know.
It's the Ambien.
Yeah, okay. On that note, this show was like all over the place.
Just like my mental.
We got some criticism this week, and you know it's fine.
What's the criticism?
That we're all over the place, basically. Won't finish a sentence, but whatever. We're gonna work on that.
It's a run-on sentence.
We're gonna work on it.
It's all right.
And I'm gonna try not to blow up your spot. You know.
It's all right.
And we'll go from there. Anyway.
Y'all can at me if you got a criticism about
Come at me, boo.
Come at me, boo. At me, boo.
At me, boo. Oh, gosh.
I had this dream the other day that I got into a verbal confrontation with someone. But you know it's a dream because I'm not confrontational. But you know what? Things is about to change because I'm taking Ambien again.
You was about to throw down in the bathroom about 15 years ago. Remember the fight you want to get all involved with somebody else's argument?
I was trying to break them up, I think. No?
Yeah, but you needed to stay out of, like,
mind my own effing business.
Like, every time you try to get in something, somebody's like, oh, word? Just like my cousin said she was going to throw you in the garbage bag.
Bag of leaves.
Bag of leaves. Just fall back and say hello and keep it moving.
Hi.
Exactly. Anyway, so follow us on Yep Yeah Yes
18.
18 via Instagram or Yep Yeah Yes on Twitter. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. Share, repost, retweet. And thank you for listening. Happy boo. Peace.